Hi, I'm Katie Farrell with Dashing Dish, and at Dashing Dish I'm all about teaching you how to nourish not only your body but your soul as well. Today I'm going to share a really fun kid-inspired recipe, which is chicken fingers and fries. Now before you start to think, I thought this was a healthy cooking segment, let me show you what I used instead of fries. One of my very favorite veggie swap outs, which is zucchini. And what I love about zucchini is it really does get nice and tender, just like a French fry, but it has so much more nutrients than just a white potato. And one of the things that I often share at Dashing Dish is if you're just looking to get healthier or make some clean eating swaps, a great place to start is to pitch and get rid of all the whites. Now what I mean by all the whites are white flour, white sugar, white pasta, really anything even like a white potato, because we know it's void of so much nutrition that you can get in other ways and other places. So here we have zucchini fries that we're gonna make instead of white potato fries. So to do that, all you do is you take just a zucchini squash, and I love doing this in the summer, especially when the squash are really big and fresh, but you can do it all year round because the grocery store still has zucchini. They're just a little bit smaller in the colder months. And you can also use the summer squash as well. And all you do is you want to just trim off the ends like I did there, and then just trim right down the center with a small paring knife or just a knife that you feel comfortable using. You could even have your kids, if you have children, help you with this part. Just give them a butter knife or a safer knife because zucchini is pretty easy to cut through. And then I'm just going to cut it right through the center here so you can see that I have some already cut. And what you really want to look for with the size of these is that they're pretty similar in size so they cook through evenly. And then you also want to look at the size of your chicken and say, okay, are these going to cook at a pretty good rate next to each other? So the chicken, I actually just bought chicken breasts that are average size, and then I just cut it just thinner into strips. But you could even so much as cut them into even smaller strips, so they're more like chicken finger size, or you could even cut them into chunks. Now, the beauty of this dish is it's all going to cook together on one baking pan. So it's very simple and easy to do. And again, I love to do this with, my whole family, get my family involved. I'll usually have my husband do the breading station, and then a really good job for my 1.5-year-old Maddie is just to stir things. She loves to stir, stir, stir. And so I always just put things in a bowl that I know that she can stir without any of the wet ingredients, usually just the dry stuff. And then I give her a spatula or a spoon and I get her stirring. And so here I have for the dry ingredients for our breading, some Parmesan cheese and some almond flour, garlic powder, and parsley. So almond flour is a great swap out for breadcrumbs, especially if you can't do gluten or you're grain-free. Almond flour is a great breading consistency on almost anything that you would use for breading. You could also use oat flour, or you could use breadcrumbs. Panko or whole wheat would be a better choice. And then just some garlic powder and a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's really just to taste, just to give the zucchini especially a little bit of extra flavor. So I'm going to just mix that together. You could even have your little ones get their hands in this dry mixture and just stir it up with their fingers. And what I like to encourage, especially moms, to do is to get your kids in the kitchen with you cooking, because a lot of times I think, we just think that, oh, we got to get dinner on the table. They're going to make a big mess. It's just easier to just do it ourselves sometimes. But oftentimes when we get our kids in the kitchen with us, we're able to teach them so much, not just about cooking and nutrition, but we can really just have really good conversations with them. And I found that especially with my husband, one of the things we like to do is we like to bake together. And so it really just allows us to have a relaxed, fun time. We usually put on some worship music and we get laughing and talking. And so it just creates a really fun and inviting presence into your home to just get some music on and get in the kitchen together. And so here I have 3 eggs. That's really just going to be the binder that will bind this breading to our chicken and our zucchini. So I just whip those up, and you could even have your kids do that part as well. And then I have 2 stations. So this is kind of like a breading station. We have our wet, which is our eggs, and we're going to dip all of our chicken in. And then we're gonna dip it in the dry as well. And we're just gonna coat it and kind of lightly pat it. So here on a baking pan, I have some parchment paper, and that just allows for easy cleanup. We can literally take this whole parchment paper up right when we're done cooking the chicken and throw it away. So it's all about saving time in the kitchen and dishes. So we'll continue this process with all of our chicken, and you can actually just put it all right in the egg wash at the same time, get it all soaked in the egg, and that will help the breadcrumbs kind of stick. And I think a lot of times too, you know, we think as moms that, you know, we need to do more and we just are always under all kinds of pressure. But one of the greatest things that I like to encourage, especially new moms, being one myself, is just that to remind yourself that the greatest ministry that you have is your family. You know, whether it's being a wife or a mom, it's truly, you know, there's so many things that are pulling at our attention, at our time these days as women. And so just by simply caring for your family, that is God's greatest ministry that He has given you. And so just doing things like getting your kids in the kitchen with you, cooking healthy meals, all of that is part of the ministry that God has called you to. So then we're gonna put all of that chicken down on the parchment paper, just like you see there, and then we're gonna follow with the zucchini fries. And you can see how easy this is and how fun it would be to have kids join in. And I like to, you know, kind of talk through and walk through all of the different things with Maddie since she's so young right now, like, you know, teaching her zucchini, and we'll say it over and over so she can learn zucchini. But if you have older kids, you can teach them about what a zucchini is. Why is it nutritious? You could even look it up yourself if you don't know before you're teaching your kids in the kitchen. And so that way you kind of educate yourself as well. And so we're just going to continue with this breadcrumb mixture, and you don't have to worry about it sharing the same juices as the chicken, because this is all going to cook up together nicely in the oven. Now you will notice that your hands will get a nice breading on them as well. So if you wanted to, you could use tongs, or you could do one hand in the wet and one hand in the dry so you won't bread your fingers. But I always say that's part of the fun, is just getting your hands dirty. It's part of cooking. So we're gonna finish these up and put them all on the baking pan, and you would finish up all the zucchini fries as well. Once you have these breaded and they bake up nice and crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, even the pickiest eater will love these zucchini fries. I promise you, you will not have a picky eater who will not approve. Now, if you think that that's not the case, then I will tell you that you could do this with sweet potatoes and then just do sweet potato fries instead of the zucchini. You could even do white potatoes. But really, this is a great dish because you're baking these chicken fingers and fries rather than actually frying them. So here I would just spray it with some nonstick cooking spray, just a little bit of olive oil spray on the top, and that will help it get nice and crispy and golden brown. And then bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes until the chicken is cooked through and the coating is nice and golden brown, just like you can see here on the finished product. And what I like to do is I like to actually dip these in ketchup. So I just buy a lower sugar ketchup. You can even make your own. But you could use barbecue sauce, honey mustard, anything you like on chicken fingers and fries. And this tastes absolutely delicious. And like I said, even your picky eaters will approve. So for this recipe and more just like it, you can head over to ctvn.org.